Airport, ambulances with wings, one each for Navy and Army, ready to be christened by Mrs. Harry S. Truman, who, with her daughter Margaret, will do the honors in her first public appearance. But Mrs. Truman is in for a surprise. By an oversight, the champagne bottle, unlike this one, hasn't been properly prepared, etched to break the glass on impact, and glass cutting is behind successful christenings like these. Now Mrs. Truman, unaware that her bottle is not prepared, refusing to be rattled, the new First Lady joins in the crowd's laughter. Let's see how her military aide meets the crisis. But to the Navy, forewarned is forearmed. Here, armed means a hammer. Watch it just under the airplane's nose. And even the hammer misses on the first try. All's well that ends well. Despite the stubborn bottle, Mrs. Truman sends off the hospital planes with her blessing.
Hello everyone, today is Thursday, December 8th, 2016, and these are the best stories I could find for you over the internet for the last 24 hours. The first story I have for you is how Donald Trump's favorability ratings have just skyrocketed since he started putting together his cabinet, so here's a short report for you.
Brand new poll shows President-elect Donald Trump enjoying a post-election bump in popularity. The first Bloomberg Politics poll taken after the election shows Trump favorability up to 50%, which is up 17 points since last August. And since Election Day, 55% are optimistic about Trump's presidency, with 73% saying it was okay for the president-elect to recalibrate his campaign pledges now that the election was over. 79% felt that Trump should now tone down his vitriol from the campaign trail. Turning to his business empire, 69% feel Trump should not be forced to sell his businesses. 67% felt that Trump should choose between being president or being a businessman. However, 51% are confident he will put the nation's best interests first.
My next story involves Greg Gutfeld and the Five. He put together kind of a brilliant analysis of how, ever since Donald Trump has taken over, the PC tactics of the left have completely backfired on them. So here it is.
Here's why. He became president not just against all odds, but by uprooting tradition. He's an historical first, exploiting social media, a bare-knuckled comic in an entertainment bubble. He did something many dreamt of trying, slaying the beast called political correctness. He jammed the left-wing weaponry. Charges of racism, intolerance, sexism, hate, they stopped working. Trump said to his accusers, "So what? Come and get me." And when they did, he already had millions of Americans behind him. Trump attracted so many people who were either victims of PC malice or just sick of hearing about it. 2016 saw more than the birth of a rare politician, but the death of identity politics. The pendulum swing from phobias over pronouns to jobs, migration policies, and Mr. Obama's unspeakable fear, radical Islam. It was about turning outward instead of inward, country, not campus. Maybe others could have done it, but Donald Trump did. Yeah, he said some crazy stuff, but that's the risk we're willing to take in 2016. In the next 4 years, we'll find out if it's worth it.
That her father, my papa, had high cheekbones, like all of the Indians do.
This next segment I call Around the World, where I give you brief newscasts of everything happening from around the world. Pandora had to apologize to the bride whose husband was left humiliated by a store worker who made fun of the $130 rings he bought her for their wedding. Ariel and Quinn McCrae bought $130 rings in a Pandora store in Tennessee. The engaged couple, both 22, couldn't afford more, but still wanted to get married. Mrs. McCrae said she was in love with the cubic zirconium and silver rings. A Pandora employee said it was pathetic that men would spend so little on the rings. Pandora then offered to send Mrs. McCrae a bracelet to make up for the ordeal. They had been dating for 2 years after meeting online. They tied the knot at a Tennessee storehouse, and the bride wore a $30 dress. Congratulations. Money can't buy you love. 2 teens are charged with starting the Tennessee wildfires that killed 14 and destroyed hundreds of homes and businesses. 14 were killed and more than 50 were injured in the Tennessee wildfires. The blaze also destroyed or damaged more than 1,700 buildings in the area. Now, 2 juveniles have been arrested and face aggravated arson charges. More than 14,000 people were forced to evacuate from resort towns of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge as high winds fanned the flames. Dollywood was also evacuated and tourists fled the area, and Dolly Parton has pledged to pay affected families $6,000. What a shame. Finally, I'm sad to report that Greg Lake from the rock group Emerson, Lake and Palmer has sadly passed away from cancer at the age of 69. And in my final segment, I call the strange and funny videos that have come across the internet. The first one I think you'll like. Is there anything better than a pretty girl dancing in the street? She'll bring a smile to your face. This one might also bring a laugh. Watch. This next clip is kind of amazing. Watch as a car goes airborne and actually hits the camera. And finally, is there anything worse than having a truck full of raw sewage and it spills? Here you go, I got it for you. I'd like to thank you once again for clicking onto this video, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care and be safe.